For those of you looking for a directed message, man, this video is not that. I'm just gonna kind of kick it with you for a minute and enjoy some of the sun. The sun is at a really nice angulation. So I'm just soaking up some of this sun, you know, enjoying the taba. Taba is tobacco in Yoruba. And just vibing with my dude, you know. And I figured I'd just kick it with you guys for a minute before the next movement. Always lots of movements. But so yeah, if you want like a 30-second message, then go to the other videos. You know, there's a lot of them. I did 13 so far. Today marks the release of 14 Keys, you know, previously titled 14 African Principles, but it's an interchangeable title, 14 Keys, 14 African Principles. But yeah, you know, I'm glad that that work has been done, and you know, that phase of the work has been done. You know, there's a lot more to it, but I've been releasing videos every day. I promised myself to do 14 videos up to the day of release, and you know, this would be the 14th. So you know, thank all of you. I want to thank you all who've been riding strong, my ride or dies, and for those of you who have been supporting consistently. You know, for today's video, I was kind of just contemplating over what I was going to share, because I've pretty much been going through some of my archives and sharing points and principles that are highlighted in the 14 Keys work. But today I just said, well, today I'm just a little bit more relaxed with it. So I figured to be a bit more personal, I would speak, you know, just build with the family for a minute. You know, I was out and moving around and handling some things and making some moves, and I said, yeah, let me just speak to the fam. But yeah, man, 14 Keys. So, you know, it's a couple of things I just wanted to kind of speak on real quick, and understand that the 14 Keys is really about establishing a unified base, a unified foundational nucleus of language and verbiage and ideas, wherein which we could build doctrine, you know, wherein which we can build edict and laws on top of, for those of us who are riding with the Sanu movement. You know, I'm gonna enjoy this Cohiba while I'm, you know. The work is can be used by anyone, you know, 14 Keys, it can be utilized by anyone who's trying to get a better grasp on certain terms and certain ideas that find themselves always in the midst of conversations surrounding community building or self-empowerment or self-awareness or self-help, so forth and so on. But specifically, the charge for those who are jumping in feet first to the Anu Global Ministries is to understand that these terms or these keys that are being put forth are a part of our structure, are a part of our contour. And, you know, I could have went in much further detail, man, but I don't like to box anyone in. I don't like to be boxed in, and I don't like to corner or to box anyone in with an idea or concept. A lot of times we have trouble figuring out where to start from, you know, like where do we begin? What's the first step? I got this information, what do we do now? And I don't want that to be an issue for our new people. And I don't want it to be an issue for anyone that our new people know. You know, you should be able to speak to other people and say, okay, well, Chief gave us a guideline, you know. Of course, spiritually, you have 14 spiritually, you have grasping the root of divine power. You're dealing with family issues. You got solutions for dysfunctional families, because truth is, that is a start for many of us, coming from dysfunction to some form of efficacy and normalcy. But and if you say, well, I want a physical sacred space, you got shrine and altar, you know, so it's like, it's a lot of good starting points. So then, you know, when you're looking to say, okay, well, now what about the culture? You know, what about the terms that we use? What about the values and the norms and the mores that we're expected and anticipated to celebrate? Well, you have the 14 keys now. So we can all speak that language, you know? And yeah, man, I have some other ideas, man. I decided I was gonna do an Orisha series next, which I may still do because I'm pretty far into it now, but I realized some work on male and female protocol is desperately needed. So I will most likely work on that. You know, I'm kind of eager about doing some work surrounding that kind of protocol. You know, a lot of times when we're trying to get stuff popping off, we're trying to get stuff started, and I kind of deal with this a bit in the section in the book on faith. I speak about faith briefly, but a lot of times the mistake we make, man, is we don't properly map out and scope and survey the terrain that's in front of us. I mean, in our Yoruba tradition, we've established a name, you know, a Jogan, just for obstacles. You know, obstacles are considered to be their own spirit, and those obstacles are triggered by the violation or the trespassing of our own personal taboos. You know, so when you know, don't know how to play in your own lane, you actually invoke spirits that there's a family of them that specifically create obstacle. Jubai Oshun. And I think it's important, like, it's important to pay attention to that, because I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of times when we want to do something, we want to get something started, and it could be a restaurant, it could, maybe we want to move, we want to change jobs, or, you know, we just want to get something done. Sometimes we'll run to the priest or we'll run to our shrines and we'll just start working. We'll just start putting, you know, grinding, putting the work in. And you have to be able to situate a proper mental image, you know, beyond your ideation of, I want to get something done. There has to be a more clear and vivid visualization of what that thing is, what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, the sensation of achieving it, the sensation of working towards it. You know, that's a part of, it's really a meditation, it's a form of meditation, man, but that's some of the things that we skip a lot of times in our work. We just say, well, I want this. And we can't even picture ourselves being that or having that. So you don't get it. You know, but that visualization has to happen first. And then after that visualization, you got to pay attention to the jogan or the obstacles that may be in your path, that may be in your road, because I've worked with so many people who have thought that the reason they couldn't accomplish something was because they weren't worthy of it, or they didn't have the skill to accomplish it. And you know, a lot of times nothing can be further from the truth. Sometimes there's an obstacle in their path that they're not even aware of, because maybe there's a previous violation of taboo, or maybe there was just an obstacle put in that road. So, you know, it's like driving a car in the dark with no lights on, and there's a big tree or there's a big boulder in the road, and you're trying to drive and your tires are just spinning, and you're wearing yourself out with your tires spinning, and you're thinking it's because you're weak, or because you should just go another way, you don't deserve to get there, or whatever it is, and you don't realize it's because, man, there's an obstacle in the road that you haven't even paid attention to. A lot of times we need to pay attention to that, man. We need to be able to identify those obstacles and the hindrances that are in our path before we even start on the path. What's blocking us, you know? And then you deal with the inventory of self. That's almost like the last thing. The inventory of self, and not just yourself, your internal environment as well. You know, you deal with what are my strengths? You know, what will help me to accomplish this? personally, where's some of the points that I may need to work on a little bit. And then you look externally and say, okay, what are the strengths of the people around me who I can requisition for assistance, and possibly what may be some of the weak points that those people have around me that may stop me from making that happen, you know? So yeah, man, a lot of times we're trying to get things done, man, and we just don't know the process to get started. So that's what the 14 keys is about. And I would utilize the same process I just gave you with the book and with all the other books I've given you. Even like those of you who have taken my class and it's like, man, you know, you may be still struggling with certain things in life, because just because you come into consciousness doesn't mean that everything is resolved, because you can see something or you can articulate it, or you've now gained some understanding behind something that you've been dealing with. A lot of times there's still deep-rooted things inside of us. And you know, a lot of times people with ears to hear can actually hear, and or eyes to see. They can see those things inside of you, those things that, you know, those schisms that are still there, you know, or as we speak about in Ifa, in one of the sacred Odu, it's the dark spot, you know, in the dark spot that still lies beneath the surface of the palm oil. That's in Irosun. Irosun, you know, you're dealing with a lot of like unforeseen issues sometimes, accidents, because Irosun is dealing with digging deep into your tradition, into your history. You know, it means Oshun sings, you know, so sometimes there's things that lie beneath the surface that need to be addressed, man. I know there's a lot of hurt out there. A lot of us have been banged up, man, and we don't want to admit that, or we talk so much mess about our overcoming story now that we're in consciousness now. You know, nothing affects us, and we so strong, and we this and we that, and we all that, and we don't really want to be honest about, man, I still got some things I'm working on, or there's some things that happened to me when I was a child that I haven't gotten through yet. And I'm hoping that studying this stuff and working on this stuff is going to help me to get through it, but I don't really know for sure, you know. You know, this video really isn't about any specific topic. I just felt like I wanted to kind of touch down with some of the folk before I move on to the next thing. You know, on the 28th of this month, I'll be releasing a class on the 14 African principles. So I'm working on that. And then there's a couple things that we got popping. You know, sometimes I don't like to talk about stuff too much, because especially if my schedule gets knocked off, then it's like, yo, he said this such and such, and it came out then. That's what happened with phase 1, spiritual training. I kept saying, end of the month, it's coming, and it was like a year later, you know, because there was so much going on. So just know, man, there's a lot of things in the pipeline, man, a lot of things in the works, from new classes to new experiences to connect with us and build with us and things like that, man. And I want everybody to really recognize too, man, that our new is just not about a YouTube channel or whatever, or a podcast, however you see it, man, or classes online. You know, this is a ministry movement, man. So for those of you who have talents, come on in, man, and you want to be a part of this. And, you know, I'm going to say something to you guys that I said to my youth, one of my youth recently, man. You know, he was like, Baba, you know, well, we were just building on some things, man. And I said, listen, man, you got 15 years to get your joint together, man. Because in 15 years or less, I'm giving all of this to you. That's the pressure that's on your back right now. You know, and he sees the people, you know, who come to the shrine and crying and sometimes half dead, you know, and totally destroyed, and some of the negotiations and some of even the heated negotiations that I go through on the continent when I'm dealing with different situations over there and things like that. I'm like, that's all you. That's gonna be all you, man. Like, I'm gonna be just gardening, you know, and having fun, basically, man, because, you know, you got to put that on the youth, man. You got to put that on them, man. Your sons and your daughters, they got to carry on these legacies, man. It's not just about you servicing them. so they can go out and lose their way in the greater society, man. Nah, you got to build a shelter and a home for them right where you're at. Wow, I got a big old grasshopper in front of me. Grasshopper, isn't that ironic? Speaking about passing things down, So yeah, man, you got to really speak about that legacy. That's an important piece, man. For those of us who are at a certain point, we can't, how much of this can you hold, and for how long? And you're going to need an influx of new ideas and new thoughts. And the 14 principles is really that. It's a resuscitation into values and ideas that in some senses have been co-opted and others have been forgotten, others never even known, but we got to reclaim our stuff, man. And you reclaim it by evolving it, by taking it. Everyone a lot of times is so afraid that people are infiltrating the different systems and, coming in as invaders and whatnot. So what you do is you take the system and you move it so far beyond that the individuals you're worried about infiltrating can't keep up. That's all. Everyone's so afraid about Ifa and Orisha and consciousness kind of being co-opted. Well, yeah, that's going to happen if it stays where it's at. I saw an ad recently, Instagram photo that somebody posted where it was a kit. It was like it was a Halloween costume, but it was I guess like a 60s or 70s pro-black. It was like a dashiki that came with an afro and a pair of sunglasses. So now your visions of investment and your culture have become caricatures. So what's the new thing? Move beyond it. Keep moving. Don't sit still. Ever forward. Yeah, man. And we got a lot of things to celebrate that we're ignoring, man. We got a lot of new fly things, man, that we're forsaking because we're spending too much time either looking too far ahead or looking too far backwards and not really recognizing what we're evolving into being right now. Some of the cool things that we're tapping into right now, man, we're missing it. And that's where the youth come in to let you know, like, slow it up, man. You got something popping right here and right now. Slow that up, man. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to build with the family for a minute and just talk and take a break from some of my work that I was doing and just give the 14th video. 14 is a very divine number too, man. I'm gonna get into that at some point. And it turned out being a very, very, very personal number for me. Man, if I tell you some of the things that happened recently, even recently with the release of this work around that number 14, will blow your mind, Maybe I'll share that at some point. I'll see if it's appropriate to at this point, But yeah, so I just want to thank everyone, man. Thank everyone for the support, and definitely for the words of encouragement, the words of not just the words, but also the actions of support. Those of you who have chosen to be a part of this movement and this ministry, understand that I'm going to put that 15-year charge on you too. That's why on the sign-up form, it says, what do you want to contribute? What area do you want to contribute in? And it's not just monetarily. A lot of people were like writing and saying that, oh, I'll contribute donations. I mean, that's cool. I've matured enough to not turn away donations like I used to all the time. If you want to help, there's different ways people can help. Some people, that's what they can do. And it may not be a big deal for them, or they just want to do it. That's cool too. But yeah, man, people got talents, man. You guys know how to do stuff. Like, for instance, Chief Speaks, man. Who's going to take that over? I was offering Foundation on Friday, Thunderground Thursday. I didn't get any strong takers, So I hope you don't think I'm gonna keep doing Chief Speaks. There's other chiefs. I'm not just the only chief that there could be. And I'm the chief Jegna, meaning that there are other Jegnas. So who will take those positions? Who will model proper images of leadership, of manhood, of womanhood, so we kind of can have some healthier benchmarks and checkpoints, so we know when we're vacillating and oscillating from our purest form, you know. And I'm gonna say something real quick, man, something I want to just add, and I know I'm all over the place, but hey, give me that. It's the 14th day, let me get that, you know. Something I want you guys to understand, man. Make your consciousness exciting. A lot of times, like, people, especially those of you who think that I'm just a self-help guru or something, you got it twisted. Like, a lot of times self-help people, they're always giving you something to chase down. It's usually happiness. You know, find your bliss, find what makes you happy, this, that. And you know, sometimes you're not gonna be happy, man. That's just a part of life. You know, happiness and sadness are transient. And in truth, sadness lends itself closer to depression. So sadness is not really the antonym of happiness. You know, vitality. That's why you have Ogun, you have Oya. Oya, even though we think about her as the warrior and everything, and you know, and Oya women can be very cantankerous, but they like to enjoy life, man. And the reason why a lot of times they're so miserable, because they really want to enjoy life in a way that they feel steps outside of social convention, and they're tired of like the pressure of expectation and the pressure of decorum. That's why a lot of Oya women, man, they can't, you know, their mouths, man, they don't know how to speak to people properly, because they don't even think about how to speak to people, you know. But they ultimately, like, they just want to be happy. They're the wind, they're the air, they're just zooming and moving all over the place and just being happy. And Oguns, maybe not so much, you know. But if you look at the complement, man, and one of the reasons why they get together, because Oguns and Oyas are very exciting. They're exciting people to be around. So you see that the relationship to the excitedness of Oya, the wind of Oya, and maybe the lower parts of Ogun, where she says, man, I'm out of here, I'm going with your brother. Like, why did she leave to go to Shango? A lot of people don't know that. I can give you the scientific. I don't feel like making this one of those type of videos. I'm chilling. Let's look at it more from the mythological, the anthropomorphized perspective. She left Ogun because Shango was more exciting. Ogun was boring. He just wanted to work all the time. And the fear or the nemesis of happiness is boredom. The nemesis of happiness is boredom. You know, a lot of you guys chasing happiness, man, you're looking in the wrong place. You know, you're looking for like, oh, let me lose some weight. Let me get back with my ex. Let me get a mate. Or let me go eat some cheesecake, or whatever it is. And if all of those things are not bringing excitement to your life, remember excitement? Remember that? I gotta say that for some of you, because some of you lead like very boring lives, man. And especially now that you're quote unquote conscious, you're super boring. I preferred some of you when you were ignorant, you know? You know, you got to understand, man, that excitement is a key piece of life, man. It's important. That's why Oya was like, man, this dude, you know, because Shango met her in Ogun's workshop. That's a significant part of the story, you know. And, you know, he whispered, come on over here. Come on inside over here. You know, sometimes a fella do that to you. Come on inside. Come on inside this garbage can. We're going to, you know, let me hit that. So he calls her to the side like, yo, come here. And of course, he's coming in dancing. He's all excited. He's smelling good and everything, and skin's glistening. Probably had deep set dimples and chiseled features and all of that, and big traps and delts, and you know what I mean. And she saw that and was like, man, this dude's exciting. And this dude back here, you know, he just wants to work all the time, man. You know, and I'm getting bored. So I'm gonna tell you, man, one of the greatest charms and juju that you can insert and inject into your spiritual work, man, is make it exciting. Figure out a way to make your work exciting, make your rituals exciting, make your life exciting, make your relationships exciting. Excited. The same way you're trying to excite spirits when you want to work with them and things like that, man. Excited. Excite the whole process, you know? And that's the cure for that, for unhappiness, man. You know, for you women, because a lot, you know, women are pretty boring by nature, you know, and part of that is because of social convention. You know, you told you can't really do anything you want to do, because, you know, women they have a real dark evil part of them, and that's their fun. And because of social convention, they're not allowed to be as evil, and evil is different from wickedness. Wickedness is going against nature. It's different, but they're not allowed to be as evil as they like to be sometimes. So they get bored. They become bored housewives and a lot of things like that, man. But when you liberate yourself from that, man, you see how much more powerful you get spiritually. You know, when you infuse excitement into your life, into the things that you like to do. You know, I know as we get older, we're supposed to abandon things that we find exciting, but don't do that. You know, don't do that. Keep it going. You know, so I'm going to give you guys that little, that's the gem for the 14 keys video. Excitement, man. Only boring people get bored. All right, so if you find yourself bored in your life, or you live in a place like ain't nothing to do, there's nothing to do, man, go to a mall and just start talking to people, you know, or go to an event, strike up conversations, do things that you wouldn't normally do that make your heart beat, that terrify you, you know, especially you women, man. A lot of times you guys kind of sit in the cut and wait for everything to come to you. And I know you're a magnetic energy, but, you know, that's you functioning at your right vibration. A lot of you are not that. Like, so when you look at the characteristics of womanhood or of the divine feminine, and you say, well, we just that, you're not that, because a lot of you have gone so far away from that. And the same thing with the masculine piece. Man, I'm gonna speak on that another time, man. I don't want to turn this into a browbeating video, because I was, but like I said, I'm just kind of sharing some game with you all, chopping it up with you, you know. But that's something that I see as a constant, man. When you want to make those steps, you don't scope out the territory like a war general, like you should. You know, lay out the whole terrain in front of you. And when you lay out that terrain, you're going to look at, okay, well, what's in our ammunition store? How much ammunition do we have? How many troops do we have? You know, how are we on rations? You know, then you're going to look at, well, what's the obstacles? Well, there's a mountain here. There's a gully here. Here we don't have the highland. This, that, that. You're going to look at your obstacles. You know, you're going to deal with them. And then you're going to identify, well, who's my allies? Can I call so-and-so to come and help me? Or are we strong here, strong there? Start there, man. But I'm telling you, the last part of it all is self-assessment. Unfortunately, the first part, usually for most people, is self-assessment. I talk to you guys, I might say, hey, man, let's get a boat. You know, let's get our new cruise ship, so we could really just like go out in the water, like, and just do what we want, man. Just have fun and everything. And oh man, I gotta work, and I ain't gonna be on a boat, man. I'm seasick and out of that, you know. There's not a real assessment of like, well, okay, first ride with me for a second, man. Picture it. Can you imagine being on the water, seeing the sunset on the water, and the seagulls when we're close to land coming and trying to eat with us and taking our food, and you know, our children just running around and having fun, and knowing that they can run anywhere they want because it's all family here or whatever. You know, I'm just giving you some examples. And then you think about, well, what's standing in the way? Okay, maybe it's finances. Maybe you don't know nothing about boats. You know, this or that. You know, you deal with your obstacles. And then you look at, okay, now where are we strong? Where are we weak? That's like your last step, man. You know. So yeah, man, I'm gonna get back to work, but I just wanted to have a simple talk with you guys, man. Just wanted to have a simple talk. And I want to say, you know, I'm proud of a lot of you, man. A lot of you have made some humongous strides under this system. And pat yourself on the back, man. You know, you guys have done some great work, man. And you know who you are. We talk. Some of you came to me suicidal. Some of you called me while you were trying to take the pills. You know, or the day of, day before, and you've made some huge leaps and bounds in your development. I know some of you didn't know an Arisha from Felicia. It was, you know, what's what. You know, you didn't know what was what. And now you're at the point where you're teaching others and you're sharing with others, man. Keep it up. Keep going, man. Keep moving. You know, I'm telling you. And use these books and these works and these shows that I'm giving you as a guider. Don't use me as the guider. Don't do that. Anything could happen. You know, this video could go viral. You know, I could get hit by a bullet. You know, plane could come out of the sky right now, fall on top of me. Then what? All right. So you got to follow that pulse. I'm giving you the drum beat. I'm telling you where it's at. I'm giving you the rhythm. 14 keys is the sheet music. Here, this is how you get on beat. This is how you get on rhythm. You want to be able to flow and talk about subjects and things like I do. Here, I'm giving it to you. I'm not one who markets secrets. And I know that that's a marketing and sales tactic. You know, the withholding of information can be used to gain a competitive advantage over not only your competitors, but your consumer. So, you know, you give a little bit and say, there's a lot more to this, but I can't reveal all of this to you and I can't reveal all of that to you. Let me tell you, man, that's not how you grow a movement. How much information you really think you have based on the amount of wisdom that the universe has to share with us? You ain't got nothing. You know, some of you guys just be like, wow, Chief, man, you know a lot about a lot of different subjects. I don't know nothing. Listen, man, I don't know how this gets to be the way it is. This chip of wood. And it's all around me. So what do I really know? You know, there's so much out there to know, man. Just give it away, man. Empty out, man. You got to detox, man. You know, when you bring in things just like food, you got to eliminate it. When you bring in knowledge, you got to eliminate it. Wisdom is the wisdom and your emotions, because wisdom is the water. Your emotions are the byproducts of your knowledge, of your thinking. You know, it's the waste. Give it, you know, and give it with passion, man. And then you'll get new stuff. You'll get more stuff. But that withholding information and, you know, well, these are secret ancient systems. They ain't that secret anymore, man. Come on. The new stuff that people ain't even up on, that's secret. But secrets are meant to be unlocked and open, man. Take all of this stuff I'm giving you, man. And I'm giving you elementary stuff. I haven't even kicked it up to, I'm darn near in neutral. I haven't even went to first gear on you guys yet. You know, so I'll give you up to 6th gear, man. Take it all, you know. And you function the same way. Give it, man. The best way to get something is to give something. You got to give to get. You know, look at, what's that crazy chick, man, who was saying all those racial slurs to her employees? I don't remember. One of them TV cooking and house women, you know, they give recipes and secrets on how to decorate and make little arts and crafts for the holidays and stuff. They just give. Here, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do that. And when they do that, you notice that their empires grow. You know, who's the other one back in the days? The woman with the accent. You know, I look at some of those online chefs, man. I see them, man. They giving. That's how they go. You don't grow a nation or empire by secrets. It's not gonna work, man. You got to give information. I'm telling you, man. You know, so stop being so afraid to give. The universe has more to give you, and the more you give, and the more people's comprehension expands as a result of the enlarging of their knowledge base, then the universe will then bestow more upon you. Because now it's grown bigger and it gets smarter. So the cosmos becomes more intelligent. So it has deeper things to share with you. Because if it's expanding, it's just like when you have a child ask you a question, you know, and they say, well, why is water wet? You know, yeah, I understand the Yoruba creation story, but why is there no mention of dinosaurs in that story? You know, or bears. Why don't the Yoruba talk about, well, we don't know bears in that part? Well, yeah, but still somebody made the bear. You know, children ask questions like that. that'll challenge you. And when they challenge you, what do? You go out and you figure out, you find the answer so you can bring it back to them, right? Well, that's the same thing the universe does. But then as a result, mommy or baba, they get smarter. And when they get smarter, they now have more to give. You see? That giving is important, man. Giving is important. Don't be so stingy all the time, man. And if you don't know, you don't know. It's all right, man. I don't know everything. There's a lot of things I don't know about. You know, I'm learning, and I'm going to keep on learning. And if I don't know, I'll try to find someone who does know. I'll take inventory of people around me. Hey, man, you know something about this? And I'll share or whatever. But, you know, you got to give to get, man. Open up your heart, man. Open up your heart. I know there's a lot of damage, man. I know a lot of you are afraid to be vulnerable, but I'm going to tell you, in this environment, you're safe. I'm the meanest person that I knew. Don't worry about it. And one day you guys will realize that I'm not mean. It's easier for me not to say the things that I say. It's easier for me to say, okay, next call. It's easier when we're on a reading for me just to listen to you, because some of you just want to ramble and let you waste your whole hour. Some of you, I do readings for you, man. Them readings be 2 hours. You know who you are. I don't charge anything extra, you know. So that's the opening of the heart, you know. Because my heart is excited. So because it's excited, it attracts, it brings people in. Like Shango's excitement brought Oya in. Oya's change and transformation. All right, so that's all I wanted to share, man. You guys make sure you pick up a copy of the book. It's digital version. There's a paperback version. I might have other versions coming, but then there's going to be accompanying class. And I know it's a dense book, and I'm going to give you guys a little heads up, man. I need to put this in the newer version of Grasping the Root of Divine Power. I was talking about this with Brother Charles recently. Grasping the Root of Divine Power is not a read from cover to cover, I got it type of book. It's a read a little bit, then practice whatever it is that I'm telling you about, then read some more, and then practice, read some more, practice. So there's a lot of hands-on things that you got to do. So you haven't read the book if you don't know 5-position divination, 9-position divination, if you don't know the different directions, if you don't know the washes, how to build a shrine that's in it, the different colors and stones and herbs that I've outlined for the different orishas. So it's really more of a reference book. You know, you can read it, but then go back and apply and reference, okay? And 14 Keys is similar. It's the type of book that something happens, you go and reference and say, okay, you wilding out, man. Let's see what the book has to say about harmony, because you're really messing up my hotep, you know? So, or peace. What is peace? Well, the book says peace is identification throughout chaos. Oh, okay. So knowing who I am despite what's going on around me, that's peace. Not being rocked. Happiness comes and goes. Excitement comes and goes. But when you have that peace, man, it doesn't really matter, man. You could be in jail. You could be in the middle of a fight. You could be making love. You could be playing Connect 4 with your children, or Battleship. Peace that won't get rocked, man. When you got that, when you have a proper sense of your identity in the face of the universe, and then you'll find once you have that, those identity crises that lead to sexual confusion won't be there anymore. All right. Respect.